Some thoughts now on understanding. How do we begin to understand the deep desperation, the consuming hatred of the terrorists who viewed life with such little value and with so much darkness they could not see a future beyond the deaths of thousands? What lesson did they hope to teach? It certainly is not one from the Quran. The true Islamic faith does not teach or preach terrorism. There are no clean or clear answers to this question. There is only speculation with charges and accusations. Discernment is always difficult when tragedy is the precursor to reason. We must not forget that judgments grow from many seeds, and if we plant the wrong seed, vengeance usurps justice and drags us to the level of the terrorist. Some find comfort in God. Some look elsewhere. Some need to forgive. Some need to blame. And some need to hate. All need to heal and to rebuild from the empty holes in our hearts and at ground zero. And we still ask why and expect no answer we can understand. When the jolting tragedy of terror grips our lives, as it did on 9/11, there's nothing we can do to change it, to stop it. It happened so fast, so unexpected, all we could do is triage our injured and our thoughts. Terrorists are the carriers of terror. Their infecting actions amplify our fears and quickly remind us of our vulnerability. The tears of loss, still today, 1 year later, and the relief that some loved ones are safe parallel our conflict of understanding why some live and some die. The stories of neighbor helping neighbor confirm our desire for community. The whole story of the World Trade Center attack is not only one of death and dying, living and survival, it is a story of hopes and wishes, shattered dreams and shock. In times of such destruction, values change rapidly. Things no longer have value. The acquired stuff of daily living, no match for the loss of a life. There is never a quick end to tragedy. We've learned that. No easy answers to the wailed questions of why, and no relief when cries have run out of tears. It is not possible to hold each hand of so many so hurting even a year later. All we can do in this human family is to be aware and to care. There is something powerful in that, and it heals. Some thoughts now on heroes. Heroes alive and heroes fallen. There are so many to count, so many noble deeds and selfless actions came from the World Trade Center tragedy. There are men heroes and women heroes, plain people and professional people, many who gave their lives that others might live, and still so many others who gave their time and sweat, all choosing service over self. Average people doing extraordinary things. These are the actions of greatness. Over the past year, a few of the stories have come out of those men and women who were willing to give their lives in exchange for the simple but profound gift of helping another. That act is a choice of the heart, and it inextricably binds the human spirit together. We need heroes. Each generation needs them. Heroes help us tell our children and each other that we are good at heart, and it is part of our nature to be Samaritans, and to acknowledge we are all part of each other and all a part of all that is. Maybe if we tell it often enough, we'll begin to think it. And what people think, they become. Some thoughts on where we are in this year of mourning. The sound of our city resonates with the beats of our hearts. It is distinctive. It's a soft yet persistent din, a mechanical collective breath that says there is life and love and pain here. Ever since September 11th, the out-breath of our city has been a sorrowful sigh. Its sharp in-breaths acknowledge the continuing pain of emptiness and loss. But as in all loss, there follows an expectation for the new of life, the cradle of wonder, and the young of hope, for life must go on. It abounds in the faces and actions of our people as they move above and below the cobbled cracks of our streets and sidewalks, and it dwells in the quarried homes and window stacks of human life and light. Life after a terrible tragedy is often seen in the whimpers of weak smiles, and too in the annealed skin of hard hurts. But below all of the pain, all of the loss, all of the tears, there is a positive cry to our city. You can feel it. And its sound is a soul that says, I am exquisite. Some thoughts now on gifts and giving. This past year, the clarion call to help and to duty sounded, and it echoed through the hearts of all Americans. By the thousands, people came to New York City bearing gifts. There were miles of material, piles of goods, and smiles with every donation of money and time. This was the spirit of America in action, manifesting into a harmony of help and confirming the axiom that New York is America's greatest city. Individuals, corporations, unions, and organizations overwhelmingly unselfishly volunteered and responded to the collective ache of humankind and came together to validate a friendship of strangers. No one knows all the names of those in need. It doesn't matter. Names are not important when you know someone is hurting. The human face is one in time of need. The community of America and beyond looked upon that face and responded with abundance and compassion. It was Thoreau who said, "What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us." And when we bring what is within out into the world, miracles happen. I have seen New York's soul, and it is beautiful. Some thoughts today on the fear of those who are different. A tragedy the magnitude of 9/11 can force a tolerant democracy into a society of contentious ideals and into a collection of non-compromising ideologues. Passionate certainties are always dangerous. If we find ourselves heading that way, we might want to rethink our stand, for cemented thought always hardens into a shape that may not fit the future. Our founding fathers demonstrated that all opinions are to be valued for their contribution to the whole and may be incorporated into the greater good, even though their singular intrinsic value may be suspect. Shared ideals are the essence of collective growth, for they are not only the building blocks of freedom and liberty, they nurture hopes and wishes and encourage individuals to let go of demeaning ethnic profiling. When that's done, the only thing left is reason. Despite our internal penchant for prejudice, America is still the haven for the oppressed, for the dreamer, for the builder, the scholar, the poet, the artist, and even the idealist and the mystic. For all know that this place is where the manifestation of great thoughts can happen. Like many of you, I visited Ground Zero a number of times over the past year. I passed the wall of shrines at Trinity Church where flowers, letters, and photos are set in sacred reverence on a wrought iron fence. Each tribute a collective jolt and individual pain, reminding us of what we lost. We prayed and tried to rescue those we thought might be alive and trapped beneath the tombs of debris. We cried as each body was recovered, and still we hoped. As the time passed, our prayers of hope gave way to the horror of the numbers dead and the knowing that no one could survive. All we could do was salute and be silent as the flag-draped bodies passed from the pit into the broken hearts of their families. And we ached for those who would have no body to mourn and to bury. Our leaders carried the war on terrorism to where it seemingly began, as the civilized world said no to the inhumanity of terror and vowed to destroy the organizations that promote and encourage it as a means to a religious end. The war is far from over. Only the first year is over. Like you, I will visit Ground Zero again